Hello, my name is Jennifer Bowers. I was born in 1978 in Yokosuka, Japan. I was born at the Yokosuka Naval Station Hospital. And so my mother, we were living off base at Sasebo, which is Army? No, Sasebo's Navy, Sasebo Navy Station. And then, so Sasebo did not have a birthing facility in their hospital. So they did all like the prenatal care and stuff like that there. And then my mom was taken by helicopter when when it was time to give birth. And so what she got in the helicopter, I guess, while she was like in labor. And then she they got to the hospital, and I know that it took a while after she arrived, for me to come. And then I was born there in Yokosuka, and then after my stay in the hospital with my mom, then we went back to Sasebo. I would assume we drove. I don't know. And then we lived off base. So I have some photo albums at my house. I have like 6 to 8 photo albums now. So I can show those along with my story. So that it makes more sense and you can kind of visually see what it was like. And so anyway, I was born, I was living in Sasebo. And then after that, what happened was at around 2.5 to 3, maybe 3, is when we moved back to the US. So what happened was, my dad was going to go get his master's degree. He wanted to become a principal and, to like further his career or whatever and make more money and like enjoy his job more. And so what he did was he went back to Western, which is where he got his undergraduate degree. And then what he did was he went there for like 1.5 years. So we lived in married student housing in Macomb, Illinois. And then we lived there until I was about 4.5. Oh, that doesn't line up. What's going on there? There's something wrong with my timeline there. I don't quite understand, because I know for sure we got my sister when she was 5.5, and I know for sure that I went to preschool and kindergarten in Busan. So after my dad got his master's degree, first we lived at Macomb, Illinois, near Western Illinois University, and then, or on the campus actually, and then we lived on the that time we lived off campus in an apartment. I remember that apartment. And that was in Iowa City, and I believe we were in Iowa City for like 6 to 8 months. My dad was doing some kind of internship with some sport. It was an indoor sport. I'm pretty sure it was basketball. Men's or women's, I don't remember. But he decided being a coach might be too stressful, like at the college level, And so he decided to go back, and he decided to go back overseas. And I guess I decided too. So we went, that time we got stationed. That's when we went to Busan. So I'm sorry if I call it Busan, but it is technically Busan now. But when I lived there, for some reason we refer to it as Busan. And we lived outside of Camp Hialeah, and we lived off base in real Korea. And that was for 2 years. That was when I was in preschool and kindergarten was when we lived there. So that's like 4 to 6, I guess. 4.5 to 6.5 maybe. And then that's where we adopted my sister towards the end of our time there. Then after that, I moved to the Philippines. And we were there in the mid to late 80s. No, early to mid 80s. So then first I lived at San Miguel. My dad was working at some school. I can't remember. Calayan? Yeah, was he my principal that year? At Calayan? Or my assistant principal? I think he was an assistant principal for sure. I don't remember. So anyway, then my father was driving, commuting every day from San Miguel to Subic Bay, which is like an hour each way, and it is an insane drive. Like, some people, they, other people talk about it too, not just my dad, but it was wild. Like, you were literally driving through the rural Philippines, and there was just caribou on the road, and some of them were dirt roads, and you would go through towns and then through the countryside. You would, it might be like raining because it might be rainy season, and then it just rains constantly. I mean, it's the tropics there. The Philippines is made up of like hundreds of thousands of islands, and there's just the ocean or kind of ocean side everywhere. It's a beautiful country. I highly recommend you going there, but do stay safe because there are some safety issues in the Philippines that you can look up if you want to research that further. And then there's always political instability there. So Marcos is in charge again, I believe now, right? I don't really follow it that well. So anyway, what happened was, so we were in the Philippines for 4 years, from when I was in first grade, when I went to San Miguel Elementary School. I don't know if it had like an actual school name. I went there for 1 year. And so far that's 2 schools. That's the school, Busan Elementary, I guess. I don't know, Camp Highlight Elementary. I have no idea what that school is called. I went there for 2 years. Well, the preschool was off by itself across the street, but I think it was part of the school. And then after that, they, so I did preschool and kindergarten there, and then that's my first school. And then my second school was Calian, and I was there for 2nd grade, and I had Miss Burns. And then for 3rd grade, I don't remember my 1st grade teacher. I don't remember my preschool teachers either, but I'm sure my mom would remember. And then for 3rd grade, I had Miss Cruz, and that was at Benedictine. And for 4th grade, I had a man, but I don't remember his name. He did like cool science experiments. And then after that, it was like school was about to start. That was the end of 4th grade. So in 5th grade, I was going to go into this like special reading group. And then I was going to, I had this like group of friends and stuff. And then at the last minute, we moved to Okinawa. And that was a difficult move for everybody. And then in 5th grade, that was where I went to Kadena Elementary School. So that is move number... But see, you had to move up as an administrator then. I don't know what it's like now. But from what I understand, DoDDS is much less mobile now than it used to be. They moved me a lot when I was young, which is kind of a mistake in retrospect. Like, it wasn't the living overseas so much as the like moving constantly. But then even if you weren't moving constantly, everyone around you was moving constantly, because the military would do like 2 to 3 year tours on average. Some people would ask for longer. They would like really, really enjoy living in Japan. And then other people just do their time and get out, and they're like so happy to be back in the US, and they just like stay on base the whole time. And that was definitely not my experience. So, so then in Okinawa, we lived off base. We lived outside of Kadena, maybe like 20 to 30 minutes outside of Kadena. And I don't remember. I have the house saved on Google Maps, so if I'm ever fortunate enough to go back to Okinawa, I will definitely be driving by. As far as I know, it still exists, according to Google Maps. Then I was able to find all of the off-base houses I lived in on Google Maps, which is really cool because I can visit them anytime, and then I can even walk around the neighborhood on Google Maps, which really perks me up when I'm sad. So we lived off-base in Kadena for a year, and then we moved again, and that time we moved to Yokota, and I was at Yokota for 6th grade, which was at Yokota West Elementary School, 7th grade, which was at Yokota High School, through 10th grade at Yokota High School. And I had Mr. Price, and let's see, who else did I have? Mr. Burns for geography, of course. And then I had a lot of other people. I had Mr. Troutwine for shop. No, Mr. Baker, sorry, was the geography teacher, not Mr. Burns, Mr. Baker. And so anyway, I never had Mr. Pinkerton though. I guess I missed out, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. And then, so then in 10th grade, that's when I moved to Misawa. And so that was my second high school. But both Edgren and you go to high school are both junior, senior highs to this day, as far as I know. I still follow them on Facebook, so I know what's going on at the school. So that is, so my timeline is definitely not over. So then I went to college at Mount Vernon, Iowa, and it was a very small school, and it was difficult. I didn't really fit in with the other kids and stuff. Most kids were like Midwestern. I'm really shy. It's hard for me to make friends, you know. So after less than a year there, I went and lived with my grandparents, and then for like 6 months. And then first I was going to stay in Illinois, and my parents were going to like help me get a car and all this stuff. And then instead they moved to Italy. They got a transfer to NAS Sigonella. And, you know, that was a pre-K through 12 school. So, and I think my dad was the principal, but I'm not sure. So, I was clearly not paying a lot of attention. Very self-absorbed. So anyway, I went there with them, and I stayed there like almost 2 years, and then I went to the University of Maryland, and then I was able to take those like classes where you like travel and spend 3 weeks, and I did that in Paris, Dublin, and Venice. And I think it was only a week, and you got 3 credit hours for it. I mean, that's crazy. That was really awesome. It was scary though, because I was like traveling by myself in Europe, you know. I mean, there were some dicey times for sure. There were some dicey times there. Especially Venice can be a little sketchy, especially at night if you're by yourself. To be careful there. There's no cars, and you know, there's all those small alleyways everywhere. You have to be careful there, especially at night. During the day, it's really safe because it's a tourist attraction, and it's actually pretty safe at night, but you do have to be careful. And then some hotels in I don't know about all of Europe, but I know for sure in Italy. About France and Greece, I don't remember. I don't think they did that. This might have just been a Venice thing. They closed the lobby during certain hours of the night, and so you literally had a curfew. Like, if you couldn't get back by that curfew, you weren't going to get back in the hotel. And so you know, you had to be careful about that too. But the good thing about Venice is you can get almost anywhere on foot. So you can walk around all the time, but it's probably not that great of an idea. So then after Sigonella, we lived off base there, and I lived outside of Mota S. Anastasia, the town right outside of Sigonella, and we lived out there. We looked out on Olive Grove, and then onto Mount Etna. It was beautiful there. After living there for about 1.5 years, 2 years, then that's when I went back to Illinois State University. And then that's really when I just started living in America, because I started to be on my own, and international travel is expensive. And so, you know, after that, I did take some small trips to Jamaica, and I also went to, well, I guess with my boyfriend from ISU, I went to like Greece and France. That's when I went to Nice. And then I went to Japan a couple of other times to visit, because my parents were living there, you know, and that's always hard, like having parents live in another country. So that, and then really after that, I've just been living in the Midwest, except I did spend about 6 months out in, Norwalk, Connecticut, and that was in, I want to say 2004. Ooh, I don't know if I'm right though. But I've been in Springfield, Illinois for about 13 years. And Daisy's 11, and I had her here. So it's been well over 11 years, because I think I was here like 2 years before I had Daisy, at least. So it's slowed down a lot, and I don't really travel as much anymore, so that's a good thing though. It's nice staying at one place. It can be kind of good for you, although it's kind of weird when you've never done it before.